People who love lush green golf course lawns, you can have that kind of a lawn without affecting the environment if you are smart about doing it.
It's critical actually for everyone to be concerned with what they do on their property.
Any kind of changes that you're making to your environment starts with an understanding of what an impact individual environments have.
A lush green lawn around a home is beautiful, but many homeowners struggle with weeds, bugs, and erosion on their properties. These problems could be a sign that your lawn isn't getting what it needs to stay healthy. We're going to follow 5 master gardeners as they share their tips for a great lawn with several homeowners. These tips will help you get a healthy lawn too, while limiting the use of chemicals and protecting the environment.
First thing you need to do is to test your soil to see if the pH is correct. Regardless how much fertilizer you put on, it's not going to do anything because it needs the right pH for it to absorb the nutrients. So that's what the testing is all about.
When you're doing a soil test, you want to make sure that you do a randomized sample throughout your entire yard. You take those composite little samples and mix them in a bucket, and then bring just a cup of that sample and put it in the soil test bag. And you can take it to any of your local extension agencies and they can send it off for you.
They will mail you back the composition of your soil.
We'll be able to tell you exactly how much fertilizer, of what strength, and whether you need lime, whether the soil's too acid, too base.
Is basically an optimum height for cutting your lawn.
The idea is the taller the top, the deeper the roots.
If you cut your lawn too low, then you're going to have a lot of exposed soil, and that's where the weeds will start to germinate.
Okay. So by cutting your grass a little bit higher, you are you're helping to shade the roots. It retains some moisture. It also helps absorb like the groundwater better.
The other thing is to make sure your lawnmower blade's sharp. If you start seeing brown edges on your edges of your blades of your grass, or ragged edges on your grass blades, that's usually an indication it's dulling.
When you do cut your grass, what do you do with the clippings?
I don't collect them.
Good, good. You just leave them.
I just let them there. Yeah.
That's a great way to add organic matter right back to your grass.
The grass clippings have nitrogen in them, so you're putting nitrogen right back into your lawn, and nitrogen is one of the nutrients that grass needs to establish growth and the green color and everything else. You need to do deep waterings less frequently, then and that will help your roots.
If you do water, we always recommend you get an inch a week. If it's getting by the rain or if it's getting by you watering it, that's all that counts. Always try to do the watering in the morning if you can, before 10 o'clock, because that lets the grass dry out during the day and you don't have wet grass overnight. If you have your grass always wet, you're going to have fungus problems.
In the summer around here, because of the high temperatures and the sporadic rainfall, like we're talking maybe July and August, we recommend that people allow their lawns to go dormant, just let them turn brown. By the time you get a rain or two in mid-September or later, most of the lawns should green right back up.
Generally, we don't like to put down insecticides and pesticides unless there's a problem. The weeds, is clover a problem to you, or does your lawn have to be all grass, or is clover's green?
People going down the road 30, 40 miles an hour, they can't
have
tell
no
as
idea.
long as it's green.
So we try to accept what nature provides you.
Your perennial flower bed right here. I mean, you're introducing good insects to help combat the bad ones that are going to be attacking your lawn.
But for insects and grubs like Japanese beetles, we like to make sure that there's actually a problem. If you suspect you have Japanese beetles, the grubs are the ones that are hurting your lawn. You take about a foot square piece of soil and dig down about a few inches, and then just peel it back, just like sod, and count how many grubs you find. And if you find 6 or more grubs in a square foot, you got a problem. There are pesticides that will control Japanese beetles, but it's got to be done usually in, I think it's July, to be effective.
Another area we want to talk about is fertilizing. Now, what do you do for your lawn?
Well, we haven't done any fertilizing for a while.
Okay. That's not a bad thing, actually, because you are right on the water. And with the kind of lawn that you have, if you fertilize this, a lot of it would probably wash off into Greenwood Creek. One of the studies showed that there's more pollution from fertilizers from homeowners' lawns than there is from agriculture. Just because you live in the center of town and don't have much of a yard and can't see any stream, that water that comes off your property is going to wash down a road and eventually into a storm drain and eventually into one of these waterways.
Fertilizers can harm the environment because they can create a lot of nitrogen and phosphorus and runoffs into the bay and create algae growths, which create dead zone. What we're looking for are fertilizers that are not water soluble, because the water soluble fertilizers, mostly your synthetics, have a tendency to run off as soon as they're hit with water. I would apply them right after it rains, not right before.
Okay.
I think again, with the amount of rain that we can get in one storm, a lot of this can just off it goes.
And when you have a slow release, it's going to take its time going down, and it's actually better for your lawn. When you have the quick release, you're just going to get spurts of growth, but you can get too much growth and not enough root establishment. Whereas when you have the slow release, you're going to get a better root establishment along with the growth, and you're going to have a longer period of time frame where you have a nice continuous growth and green.
The best time to fertilize is in the fall, probably between mid-September to early November, sometime in there.
Okay.
And we recommend that you don't use more than 1 pound of actual nitrogen per 1,000 square feet of lawn. But an alternative to that is just using compost or leaf grow. Don't get it on hard surfaces. Concrete doesn't grow any faster if you got fertilizer on it. The other thing that could be a problem with lawns sometimes is that the soil over time becomes increasingly compacted.
The machine that comes and it goes through your yard, and it's got spokes on it that go through, and they pull all these plugs out about every 4 inches.
Yes.
And it breaks up. It looks messy for a day or two, but it breaks up, and that gradually dissolves right back into your soil base. But it will help aerate so that the roots below can get oxygen.
The other thing that we want to see in a yard is some attention to controlling runoff from your property.
This has all the makings of a site that's going to have erosion problems.
Yeah.
Now that I think about the topography of our backyard, definitely, the slant has become a little more accentuated.
With your concern for the stream that's nearby
Yeah.
and for the river, you want to keep all the sediment on your own property.
I noticed that at most of the corners of your house, maybe not all of them, you've got rain barrels. So that helps to filter out the debris from the roof before it gets into the watershed. Rain gardens are designed to slow the runoff of water.
Rain gardens can be any size. You can locate a rain garden off of your downspout, for example, and it can be just, you know, maybe 10 by 10.
So this rain garden here takes all of the water coming off of from this downspout.
Yes,
it's
and it
huge.
pours off.
Right.
I mean,
What you're doing essentially is taking the water from here, slowing it down, holding it until it filtrates
Right.
into the ground.
By planting native plants, they adapt to the area. So when you get rain, they can absorb the water and the pollutants. But if you don't have rain, they're not going to die.
We hope you enjoyed learning some of the tips and tricks to grow a healthy, lush lawn this season while protecting the environment. For more green tips, check out our website at epa.gov/pesticides/lawn care and look for programs in your local area. Thanks for watching, and remember, green practices make a healthy lawn.